Okay, my dear student, I am your social teacher, B.R. Sigdal. Okay, today I am going to discuss about this UNO. Um, what is the objective to study about this year's relation UNO? Okay, first of all, we will discuss today about this historical background, how UNO came into this existence, and what are the things that is required to be a member of UNO, and what are the functions of the UNO, and about this organs of the UNO. Okay, basically most of the teachers and the student directly they say about the recite that UNO was established on yes 24th October 1945. That is not the way to understand about this UNO. Okay, to understand about this UNO, first of all we must have to go on the history of this UNO, how it came into this existence. So I'm going to discuss in front of you all, my dear student, about the historical background of this UNO. Okay, after the Second World War, yes, world leader yes realized that war is not the solution of any problem. And the first and the second World War both is as destructive. Many mega cities were as destroyed. Uncountable yes men in property, or you can say yes men in property were yes destroyed in this world. Okay, all the inventions, or you can say innovations, whatever it is achieved, everything so is destroyed, and many peoples compelled to be as a refugee, that everybody know that. So let's now go on this topic about the historical background about the SUN. So after the Second World War, the world leader realized that to establish such a yes, international organization, with the help of that umbrella organizations, how this world war in coming future can be prevented, or can be stopped. The now listen to me here. The world leader of the then time, okay, made lots of efforts, lots of homework they have is done to stop this war and protect this mankind from the suffering of these wars. Thus, at first effort, okay, the first meeting was held at this London, that is known as the this London Declaration. That is the first effort, you can say, first homework that the world leader has been done. How now in the coming future this war can be yes stopped. The first time the in the London yes London conference was held, London meeting was held, and many more topic and the issues were aroused there and discussed there. That is the first step to establish about this umbrella organization. Now second one is that the US President is Franklin Delano Roosevelt and this British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. They meet secretly on this battleship in this Atlantic Ocean, and they issued this charter. Charter means a written document, or you can say in Nepali that is known as this Likhit Dastavez. So that is known as this Atlantic Charter. After that effort, the Moscow Declaration was done. Okay, and Tehran Declaration was done, and you can say yes, Dumbarton Declaration has been yes done. Yalta Declaration has been yes done. Many more homework, many more yes efforts has been done by this world leader at the end time, how to stop this world war in coming future. And at last this San Francisco conference was held that finalized about the charter of this Atlantic Ocean, where the US President yes Franklin Delano yes Roosevelt and the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill were yes meet there and yes issued their charter. That charter was just finalized by the San Francisco yes meeting. Okay, and so officially now UNO has been yes came into the existence on this 24th October 1945. Like this is the history of the yes UNO. You must have to understand, my dear student, like this, not directly about this date of the UNO. And now listen to me here. Yes, English, French, Spanish, Chinese, Russian were the official language of the yes UNO. Not only this, in after this 1973, okay, the Arabian language were also included as this official language of this. This is the benefit for the many more yes Muslim nations. And now listen to me here. What are the provisions or the conditions that should be yes fulfilled by any nations to be yes member of the UNO? What are the conditions? What are the provisions that should be yes fulfilled by any new nations to be a member of UNO? Now, first, should be a peace-loving nation. First of all, that nation who wants to be a member of UNO, their yes characteristics must be or should be a peace-loving yes nation. Should accept the yes obligations, okay, contained in the yes present charter of the yes UNO, and should be able and willing to carry out these obligations in the judgment of these organizations, and should be recommended by the Security Council with the approval of the 9 members, including P5 nations. P5 nations of UNO means that P5 means permanent 5 members. They are America, England, France, Russia, and China. Okay, they must have to support. Okay, to be a member of UNO, and should be approved by the General Assembly by the two-third majority. These things should be fulfilled by any nations to be as member of UNO. And now the functions of the UNO. The first and the foremost function or the work of the UN is that to maintain this international peace and security anyhow. No compromise with any powerful nations for the peace and security in the world. That is the first function of the UNO. And similarly, to achieve the international cooperations and in solving these various problems. Okay, my dear student, like this you must have to understand about the functions of the UNO. And next one is that means third one is that to work for the economic development, social progress, okay, and there's human rights issues, and to develop the friendly relationship among the many more nations and exchange about this science and technology and all the nations based on the principle of this equal rights and respect this decisions too. So these are the major functions of the UNO. Now let's discuss about the organs of the UNO. The UNO has consisted about the 6 organs. Now first one is that General Assembly. Now what is General Assembly then? Okay, now listen to me here. The General Assembly is also known as this legislature of the UNO, or you can say Parliament of the UNO. Okay, it make the plans and policy of the UNO. It makes the budget. It determines the budget of the UNO. It also responsible to admit any new nations as a member of UNO. Okay, and in every Tuesday of September every year the meeting was held in General Assembly, and all the member nations. And all the member nations means 193 nations are this total member of UNO. They meet in that assembly, and they discuss about this problems that is aroused in the different nations, and they talk and they discuss how to take out these solutions. That these are the major work of the General Assembly. And not only this, General Assembly is responsible, okay, to appoint the Security Council, Secretary General. Okay, Secretary General. The present Secretary General of the UN is this Antonio Guterres. He is from this Portugal. Okay. So this is the General Assembly, which is also known as the Parliament, or you can say legislature body of the UN. Now next one is the Security Council. The Security Council is most powerful organs of the UNO. Okay, all the decisions are made here by the P5 nation. The P5 nation can reject or accept any decisions. Okay, so now listen to me here. What are the major functions of the Security Council? Okay, it is responsible to maintain the international peace and security. It consists about the 15 members. 10 are non-permanent members, and 5 are the permanent members. Permanent members means P5 nation. They are the America, England, France, Russia, and this China. And it is recommended for this member of this new nation also. It mobilizes the peacekeeping force, especially in the conflicting area, or you can say terrorist or terrorism act and activities area. It also do the research about this dispute. These are this function of this what? Security Council. And next one is that this Economic and this Social Council. Okay, actually Economic and Social Council means that it, whatever the specialized agency that has been established, like the ILO, okay, WHO, FAO, UNDP, okay, UN Women programs, whatever it is established with this that specialized agency, that these organs coordinate to provide this facilities as well as the service and the functions to these world people. Okay, especially in the sectors of economic and the social areas. It is a central mechanism. Okay, Economic and Social Council is the central mechanism for this activities of this UNO. It study on these fields of this international, economic, educational, social aspects too. It promote the human rights, fundamental rights, and this organize the international conference. Okay, in various matters of this world. That is the major function in the work of this Economic and this Social Council. And next one is that Trustship Council. Okay, it was designed to supervise the government of trust territories, whatever the territories or this nation or the land that are emerged after the Second World War. that is controlled or was by the trustee council. But after the independent of this Palau is the nation now. After this, when the Palau became this independent on 1st November 1994, then this trustee council was suspended. This organ is collapsed now. Like this, my dear student, you must have to understand about this trustee council. And next one is that International Court of Justice. Actually, International Court of Justice lies in the Hague. Hague lies in this Netherlands. Okay, like this you must have to understand that it lies in this Hague, a place name. It lies in the country as Netherlands. It is responsible to settle this international disputes. It gives this advice in the advice and opinion about this legal questions to UN organs, or you can say specialized agencies too. And it also interpret there's treaties and there's legal terms and conditions. So these are the major work of this International Court of Justice. And now last one is 6, that is the Secretariat. Okay, it maintain this administrative duties as well as the maintain the records of this. It records this activities or official records where it's kept by making this file, and it mediates in this international disputes, keep records on the UN activities, and informs to this world about this what are the problems were aroused and how they are solved. Okay, these are the major functions of the International Court of Justice. It lies in the Hague in this Netherlands, and it carry out these tasks as this directed by the Security Council. Whatever the tasks that is directed by the Security Council, that tasks or this act and activities were done by the International Court of Justice. Not only this, it carries out these tasks that is directed by the General Assembly of the UN too. So these are these major functions or this work of this UN organs. Okay, my dear student, this much for today. And next day I will come with this new topic for you all. Thank you very much.